the place just how you planned it. Life could put you in a pickle, just make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses. And if you wanna be a chef, then I say cook it up. And if you wanna be the champ, well I say hook it up. Cause I can never tell you what you can't be. Yes I can, see a failure is something you can't be. Plus, I get you a shuttle if you feel that you need space. The sky's the limit, get you wings for your birthday. Whatever makes you happy, if you like it, then I love it. Turning nothing into something, I'm all in and I ain't bluffing. I'm who you got when the world ain't got your back, man. I pull over when life puts you in the fast lane. I'm in your corner like Bellini, if you tumble, I tell you like him. Rumble, young man, rumble, see.
What's going on? What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. The title speaks for itself, right? One's right and one's wrong. So I was going to talk about something else seriously, but this whole interracial is becoming a major, major problem because of the hypocrisy of it, right? So once again, we have a situation where a black male dates a non-black female and there's an uproar, right? And then a black female dates a non-black male and it's okay. And this is why we got to say one's right, one's wrong, you know. And I got to do this in a bunch of different ways. So bear with me when I get into this, right? So, of course, this all started with, it didn't start with Bronny James, but it started recently with Bronny James. So he goes to the prom, you know, and people are flipping out because a 17-year-old kid goes to the prom in a affluent suburb and he winds up being a black boy going to prom with a white girl. That happens. You see what I'm saying? That happens. Like if you're in a rich area, most people who are rich aren't black. So if you're rich enough to be out in the ultra rich suburbs, your kids are going to be surrounded by probably non-black people for the most part. So that's what's going to happen. So people got an issue with that. Now, at the same time, I want to say, I think Omar Epps' daughter went to the prom and she was dating a white guy and there was no issue. You know, but people use it as a reference, like here's a celebrity. This celebrity has a son. He's going to the prom with an interracial kind of date with a white girl. It's a problem. This other celebrity has a daughter. She's going to the prom with a white guy. Not a problem. And it's like, so one's good and one's bad. And we seeing this all the time, over and over and over and over and over again, which is problematic. You know, now another thing that part of this issue becomes is if we're gonna say one's good, or we're gonna say the guys is bad, why aren't we saying when the girl's doing it is bad? Because that doesn't make sense. And for me, I think it's a class issue. I think it's literally a class issue. I think because it's really only bad if black men interracially date if there are what you would consider high value-esque. You know what I'm saying? So if he's making money or if he's super attractive or considered attractive, that's when it's a problem. But if he's not making money and he's not quote unquote attractive, he becomes that stereotype, the one that, you know, busted black dude date sloppy white girl stereotype. And that's a class issue. That's not anything but a class issue. So now we got to play this, hopscotch, jump rope type of game where it's only a bad thing, actually, if you're Bronny James. You see what I'm saying? It's only a bad thing if you're all the actors and athletes and entertainers or businessmen like Robert Smith. That's when it's a problem, because oh man, you should have made a class issue. You shouldn't take all your money and give it to those people. But the irony of that is, there are plenty of well-to-do Black people who have daughters, whose daughters are with non-Black guys, and that money is going to that non-Black family. So it's bad if you think your son is going to give the quote-unquote white girl, she's going to inherit the money. But it's not bad if your daughter, quote-unquote, gets with the white guy and he inherits the money. So it's like, okay, so one's good and one's bad. So we got a problem. We got a big, big problem, right? So now we at this place where it's like, okay, all right, so in my opinion, the class issue part of it, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to Umar later. But the class issue was pervasive in this whole thing. Because when you're dealing with the class issue, what people don't want to say is that's what all of these panels and talks were about previously. You know what I'm saying? I want a guy who's making this amount of money to do this, that, and the third. So here's the thing. These guys also want something, as we know to be true. But the problem is, what if you can't provide them what they actually want? And the reason why I got to say that is because when one's good and one's bad and you bring class into it, the Black guy is normally the guy that's on the bad end of that. Because you can't come up with a Black man per se. You just can't just come up. If a Black man is with a non-Black woman, even if he's successful, he's beneath her in some kind of way, whether it's in the caste system, racism, whatever, right? So that's a problem. But the sister, it's a good thing if she dates outside, because she could come up. She came up on she came up on a white guy. And why I bring this up is because I forget which lady it was, right? But recently, there's a sister who wound up dating a billionaire, and she was on they were talking about her on like the Ricky Smiley morning show about her dating a billionaire. She needs to teach all the other sisters how to get a billionaire and whatnot. Kind of like when Mariah Carey was dating the billionaire guy, or kind of like when Janet Jackson was with the billionaire guy, right? That was all good. But the problem with those relationships was it was always viewed as she got with him, to get his, and she was going to leave with something. She was going to leave with his cash. So in essence, the come up was I got with this guy, even though, because he was rich, but even though I didn't necessarily want to be with him, but guess what? You know what I'm saying? I walked out the door holding getting a big bag. So when it comes to the guys, it's like, if you get with them, you're not going to leave holding a big bag. But the problem also in that is, that means you never liked these guys to begin with. So that's an issue. And now it's become a bigger issue, because at the end of the day, we got to just be honest about this whole situation. A guy, a Black man, is probably better off having a rich Black guy is probably better off having multiple Black women than one non-Black woman. See, because when I talk about class and money and finance, the issue is, chicks would rather be a side chick to a rich guy, a rich black guy, than with the average black guy. So guess what? We got a problem. Because if you would have, but if the sisters with a regular white guy, it's a come up because of, social class. So it's like, okay, all right, this is what we doing, no problem. Now, I'm gonna take this another step further, because this is where all this is where all the unnecessary hate comes from. If a black man's dating a non-black woman, bad. If a black woman's dating a non-black man, good. I'm gonna tell you what I mean. How often do you? They're brothers we call sellouts and coons, but they won't refer to black people in the white supremacist terms, like on a regular basis, like the ladies do. You're not seeing a bunch of black men who are dating black men, a bunch of black men who are dating non-black women running around calling guys nakers on a regular basis. That's not what you're seeing. That's not what you're seeing. That's not what you're saying, like, oh, those people deserve it, da-da-da-da-da. That's not what you're saying. Now, I know people going to use Brandon Tatum because it's like, that's a soft kind of thing. Like, yo, he always riding for the white folks or the non-black folks. And then when it's black time, he throw people under the bus. I get that. But you see, how many sisters have you seen? You got the one with the Confederate flag that's being disrespectful on purpose. You got the one that's like, oh man, the swirling thing, or the divesting movement, And I know people try to make like Travel Bros or SYSBM a divesting movement, but that's not what it is. You're just trying to make a false equivalent. Because these guys have no problem dating black women, it's just not black women in America. Which is a whole nother thing that I'm gonna get into with this also, because one's good, one's bad. So we got to get down to this anger and pettiness issue, because at the end of the day, you got to ask the question, like, hold up, if you could get with somebody on the premise that both of y'all dislike black men to the point that y'all, wish death on us, and that group can blend in with the group who just doesn't like interracial dating, and there's no calling out of this, it's a problem. Like, when a young lady got beat up by her boyfriend, that was the football player. Yeah, it was wrong. It was definitely wrong. When the sisters got killed, multiple sisters got killed by their white boyfriend, significant other, in the last few years. The guys are like, look, man, we told y'all this type of stuff could happen. It's not a celebratory issue. You know what I'm saying? It's not one of those things like, yes, it's not that. It ain't that. It's like, man, look, we told y'all this how they get down, and they can get away with this stuff, and it's always a surprise. But you're not gonna hear guys like, oh, she's a bullet bag type of thing. That ain't gonna come out of guys' mouth. So, but when guys are dating, it's when women are dating non-black men, that's cool. It's not, like, assimilating to the culture is one thing. Assimilating to racism is a whole other thing. Just a whole other thing. Like, okay, so you telling me you riding. Not only are you riding for interracial dating, you're riding for racism, oppression, whatever. So that's good, but a guy just dating out is bad. Now, the problem with that also comes in with this. You're saying, what if I have a preference, and what if my preference makes me happy? That's a whole other thing, because so you're telling me your preference is good, but if a guy has that same preference, it's bad. So which one is good? Like, so if a black man has a preference for non-black women, is that good? Because it's viewed as bad. But if a black woman has a preference for non-black men, is it good? Because it's viewed as good. So it's like, okay, we don't, we're gonna play this back and forth, up and down roller coaster ride of what's good for ye is not good for me. You know what I'm saying? So, and part of this is also this back and forth where people think they're getting back at somebody, but you're not. You're not getting back at anybody. Let's just be honest with that. Like, you're not really getting back at somebody because, you said you got your feelings hurt. Because, and I'm gonna go somewhere when I say this. I want y'all to think about the frequency of guys who you would consider sellouts. And why I got to bring it up as far as the disrespect of the race. Because when people think about somebody who sold out black people that's a black man, you're going to probably think of Clarence Thomas, O.J. Simpson, maybe Lou Rawls. Maybe Lou Rawls. But then when you think currently, you might say, Kanye and Kim. That you might say. But I'm going somewhere. These guys would be considered productive. They would be considered productive brothers, right? Or they're successful. But seems like y'all forgot Prison Bay. See, Prison Bay didn't get the kind of heat that Bronny James got. So when you represent the worst demographic of what you think a black man should represent, he could date interracially. That's a problem. That's a problem. If Prison Bay could come out of jail, Reggie Bush, if Prison Bay could come out of jail and they and sisters drool over him, he date a white chick, but they're like, he tried, he just getting her for her money. Oh, okay. So you mean to tell me, I guess because he had no quote unquote real viable future, that was the issue, going back to the class issue. So, but when you think about the sisters, I can think of, what is it, Cola Booth, who's like, she'd rather be a non-black man's footstool, side chick, concubine, and a black man's wife. That wasn't that long ago. See what I'm saying? We've seen constant sisters like, I forgot, one of the Tia and Tamara twins, who that started, she got embarrassed by her husband on numerous occasions. She embarrassed herself on numerous occasions, saying, how things were going. That wasn't too long ago. The young lady, the young woman who's in Hollywood right now, who's the boyfriend or husband is wearing a suit and she's naked and she's always doing this. Nobody said, like, that's good behavior. That's like, oh, okay, it's all good. It goes with the territory. The same thing with Fancy Garcelle Bouvet, right? It was all good just a week ago. And then when she fell out with her man or whatever, the ladies was all good. And the reason why I got to bring these people up is because, the bulk of them had no problem taking a dump on black men or black love. Hey man, love who you love. I ain't got to be with them. They ain't got to be with me. Blah, blah, blah. Now, but we don't talk about, like, what is it, Gabrielle Sidibe? She just got married to a white dude. You don't see guys like, oh man, that's how the white dudes do. They get a fat sloppy chick with some money, and that's how they do. You're not calling the guy homosexual. We're not saying that about him. It's not we don't look at it, oh, it's a bad thing. And it's like, oh, okay, no problem. But, I realized, because I was watching The Pivot, and they had Omari Hardwick on there, and he was talking about how people, predominantly sisters came for his, was dissing his wife when they found out she was white. Same thing that happened with what is it? Is it Michael Coulter? I think that's it. The brother that played Luke Cage. He was all good until they found out he had a white wife. Then it's like, oh my God, cancel. So this cancel culture, it spreads out. It spreads across, preferences and sellouts and this, that, and the third, because now all of a sudden these guys are no good. These guys are no longer any viable thing to the Black community. And I find it interesting because, and the reason I brought up Clarence Thomas, just to pivot on this a little bit, not pivot, but get back to that point. Come on, the vice president is married to a non-Black man, and she already told you she wasn't going to do nothing for Black people, but she's not viewed as a sellout. See what I'm saying? So, Clarence Thomas, he is a sellout, definitely. He's done some detrimental things, but we celebrate a sister who don't even want to claim to be a sister when she claims it when it's convenient. And then all of a sudden, now we're going to play this game where, dang, she did say she wasn't going to do nothing for Black people, but is she a sellout? No, she's not, for some odd reason. Katanja, I was getting to her. Like, what happens when when our Supreme Court justice, if she does something that goes against the quote unquote Black population, is she gonna be a sellout then? Is it gonna be bad because she thought like that because she's with a white dude? And by the way, and we're gonna have to go somewhere with this, preferences and people selling out. Unfortunately, more times than not, people get upset because, when I say one's good and one's bad, let me rewind this interracial thing a few years ago. There was a Cheerios commercial, maybe 5-6 years ago, where the daughter was mixed, the mother was white, and at the end of the commercial, she ran in the living room, and who was on the couch? The dad, who was Black. And people lost their minds because that was a bad thing. White people lost their minds. Black women lost their mind. People was just mad. And people were like, this is a Cheerios commercial. Y'all really brought y'all racism to Cheerios? And they did. Fast forward, you know how many commercials that have Black women with white men? Are you hearing guys go, oh my God, this is ridiculous, this is horrible, this is murder to the Black race? It's like, it's a commercial. People date, it happens. So it's like, this is where we at, this is what we doing. So now all of a sudden, one's good and one's bad, and that's always been the premise. When brothers date outside their race, it's bad. When sisters do it, not so much. Not so much. Think about it. And this goes all the way back to the civil rights movement, because, if you think about it, they would say, they'll tell you about brothers, even in the civil rights movement, they dated white chicks, they smashed white chicks. But do y'all really have the same type of issues with Angela Davis or Maya Angelou? No, you don't. Like, you don't. All of a sudden people are blind to history. They're blind to history. And you didn't see brothers in that time. Like, you might say Harry Belafonte was with, got a white woman. Sidney Poitier got a white woman. And people might go, well, see, they're not foundational Black Americans, ADOS, whatever you want to slice it, right? But you're still not going to say, man, Maya Angelou be so pro-Black. She ain't never got with a Black guy. And Angela Davis to be so pro-Black. I'm just saying. So now we're going to play this game. And it's like, yeah. So one's good, one's bad. And they can happen at the exact same time. And you gotta think about it. How much time, and going back in the past, How many years of a difference was Loving versus Virginia and Emmett Till? And and I'm gonna use this as a reference just for the record, and why I'm saying which one's good and which one's bad. If you and I'm gonna show you how far back the hypocrisy of this goes. If you ever watched the movie Rosewood, they killed all them people, and that was a movie with Ving Rhames. They killed all those people, which was based on a true story, over the idea over a white guy who lied and said a black man took his wife, a white woman. That's what that was for. But if you remember in the beginning of the movie, nobody had an issue with the white store owner constantly having sex with his employee, the guy's daughter, one of the old men's daughter. That was never an issue in the movie for the white people, for the black people at all. At all. So it's like, wait a minute, one's good, one's bad. See, one can get a whole town killed. The other one is just everyday life. One's good, one's bad. So which one's good and which one's bad? Because if you use TV as a reference, how good was Scandal? Scandal's good. Is there a black version of Scandal? No, because that would be bad. That would be bad. That'd be horrible. That'd be so wrong. That'd be thanks, Roger. That would be what is that movie with doggone Wesley Snipes? Jungle Fever. See, Jungle Fever was like a ominous, look at this kind of movie. Jungle Fever is like, look at how these guys selling out. But it ain't like these, but when you flip it around, it's not like that. Like, I forget the movie with the sister who was starring in it. I want to say Liam Neeson was in it. Came out like 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 years ago. Maybe 4 years ago. And what happened was the women turned into bank robbers because the white husbands were basically all interracial dating, and they faked their own death, and they had their basically non-white women for the most part turning into criminals for them to pay them back or to keep their name straight, only for them ladies to find out at the end that those guys faked their death, and they was all kicking it with white women. And sisters kind of felt some type of way when they saw it ending, but they packed in to see the movie because it was supposed to be like a great love story. It's like, oh, okay. All right. So one's good, one's bad. So it's like, okay, what we doing here? Now, if we really want to go there, one's good, one's bad. So let's play this game. Something New with Sanaa Lathan was like that too. That was a good movie, right? And in that movie, what happened? Treat the brother like he ain't ish really. One's good, one's bad. So before I get to Umar and Shannon Sharp, I'm gonna throw a curveball in here because I want people to understand how crazy this is. What happens if a heterosexual black man dates a non-black woman? It's an issue. What if a homosexual black man is dating a white man? Is it an issue? What if a homosexual black woman is dating a white woman? Is it an issue? Think about it. How big of an issue was it to Bronny James is 17 years old. That was an issue. A few weeks prior, Dwayne Wade's son was technically interracial dating because he thinks he's a girl, and the girl and the guy that he was with is a girl. I'm gonna get to Don Lemon. Don Lemon, not a problem. See, if you're not straight, interracial dating ain't a big deal. If you Wanda Sykes, interracial dating ain't a big deal. You see what I'm saying? So all of this stuff, it becomes okay, so this is for real, this is just a heterosexual black man issue. That's all it is at the end of the day. Because you could be a child who ain't even supposed to be having sex. And guess what? You got a problem. You got a problem. Like, it's why that kid is posing their sexuality. You never ever worried about it. What Dwayne Wade's son doing with that white boy? Nobody's saying that. Nobody's really saying that. What was that doggone dude? He got the crazy last name. I think he had a black boyfriend or something. Snuffleupagus or whatever the heck that dude's name was. People didn't have an issue with that. It wasn't a problem. It wasn't a problem. So now I'm like, oh, okay, so one's good, one's bad, or one's good, one's bad, and another one, I guess, is good or nobody cares, because it's not an issue then. It's not an issue. Oh, Billy Porter. I know Billy Porter came out and he had a issue. He got, whatever he got. I forgot. I think he do have like a white boyfriend. But not an issue. Not really an issue. Now, let me take this a step further. See, what if you were successful? What white man? Does any black man have a problem with Dirk Nowitzki's wife? Like, I can't believe this. I can't believe he didn't marry an African chick. A German guy married an African chick. Oh my God. Who would have ever thought it? Right? Nobody's like, I can't, Dirk, what are you doing? Nobody's saying that. Nobody is saying that whatsoever. But I'm going to take it somewhere. Because we got to talk about Serena. We got to talk about Eve, right? Because, people felt like, Serena Williams is with the white dude. She was with all them brothers prior. What happened? Well, here's the problem. People kept saying that people view Serena Williams as ugly, and that was a lie. That was a lie. That was a lie. Eve was dating Stevie J, and she went in and she was dating guys like Stevie J. Now, if you look at Stevie J's history, it's probably not going to be a good relationship. So that's a whole nother entity, right? But I'm gonna get to Travis. Because that's a whole nother point. That's a whole nother point. Because now all of a sudden, all these situations, you don't hear people calling them out the same way. Now, hear me out when I say this. And I brought up the LGBT thing, and I brought up Serena and them. So let me back to the LGBT thing. If BLM has black female founders and they date Hispanics, or they would date white people or white women in the now or in the near future, you think people are care? I mean, the money thing is already gone. You think people are care? No, I do not. Now people it'll be something to throw in the mix now, but it's too late. It's too late. So, going back to Travis, right? I don't want no 50-50 relationships. I want a man who can handle all the responsibility, right? I need a guy who got it together. I need a guy who's tall, who's physically in shape, who's rich. You got all that, right? And all you got to do is show up. You are the table. But if he's a white guy and he makes you pay your bills like an adult, like just pay the bills, and you go and then you break up and you throw him under the bus, what's the problem? What's the problem? Because now it throws away the fantasy. Like, I wasted 5 years of my life. Did you really? He spent only a certain amount of money on me in all these years. Hey, where did you get the money from? Didn't you get more famous when you got with the guy? Isn't part of the clout chasing? Doesn't part of that have to do with the fact you're with somebody who's quote unquote rich? And by the way, what happened, with all these brothers who are dating these exoticals, right? They dating these exoticals, and maybe they not tricking off on them. They're treated differently for that too. See, people aren't saying that white people ain't ish for even the sisters ain't saying white dudes ain't ish for how Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend says she got treated. But if a brother is to do that, he's like, see, these broke black men, these cheap black men, these no good black men, he was being controlling and abusive, and he was trying to use me and control me with his money and blah 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 blah. So one's good, one's bad. Even if the situation ends up bad, one's good and one's bad. So I'm like, okay, this what we doing. This what we doing. So since we're gonna go down this road and play these games, let's play it all the way. Because divestings think that, brothers who travel and SYSBM is the same thing. Let's play this whole thing out. One's good, one's bad. So if you're a black man and you decide to go to the Caribbean, Central South America, Africa, Asia, maybe even Europe, to date women, that's bad. And I've even talked crazy about it from time to time. So I'm not gonna sit here and as a hypocrite like, if you can get them women outside the country, you can get them women in your city. I've said that before. That's bad. But here's the thing. You trifling for that. Okay. But if you're a lady and you go to the Caribbean, Central and South America, Europe, Africa, to come up on a guy, it's just sex tourism. It's just hedonism. That's all that is. It's just hedonism. If you want to go to Carnival, if you want to go to the Soca Fest, if you want to go to actual hedonism in Jamaica, that's just what it is. Like, if you want to go meet if you want to get pregnant by a guy out of the country and come back, that's just what it is. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal whatsoever. So it's like, okay, this is what we doing. Snuggles, you don't never talk, cut it out. If you want to go on those adult cruise ships, when you do it, it's not a big deal. A girl's trip, and maybe you slept with a white dude or a Hispanic dude on a girl's trip, not a big deal. If you go to Cozumel and you get off the boat and you wind up sleeping with a Mexican guy in Cozumel, not a big deal. One's good, one's bad. But we play this game like I don't know what you're talking about. So which one is the good one again, and which one is the bad one, even though they're doing the same exact thing? They just tricking on poor people. You just tricking on poor people. So so both of y'all taking advantage of the same thing. One's good, once again, and the other one's bad. Now, and why do I have to bring this up? Very simple answer. Since one's good and one's bad, if a black man dates interracially and he has a kid, not, that black kid is mixed. They ain't really that black, you kind of, you super light skinned, you biracial. What am I saying? Think about it. Think about it. So, because the norm is, Patrick Mahomes, he black, but he ain't black enough. He ain't black enough. Oh, I'm gonna get there. So it's like, okay, he ain't real. He just ain't real because his daddy was with a white woman. Da 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 da. Okay, no problem. And if the daddy was with a white woman and then they broke up and now you got this quote unquote biracial child just coming up in a single mother household being raised by white society, that's bad. Because the father abandoned the child, da 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 da. It's wrong. Now this child is confused, da 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 da. But I'm gonna tell you how bad this can get. But if you are a non-black man and you get a black woman pregnant, my baby got good hair. Look at my baby's eyes. And let's take it a step further than that. You got people like Keisha Cole believing that she wasn't all the way black because her mama told her daddy was Italian. Her daddy wound up being a great boxing trainer, Virgil Hunter. I want to say Virgil Hill from the Bay Area. But she went all the way into her 30s believing that she was biracial when she wasn't. Just the belief is different. A kid could believe, Bow Wow just went out talking about he was part, he's biracial, he ain't fully black. Think about that. Because even using when the father's black and the mother's white, how y'all think Mariah Carey, what happened when Mariah Carey first came out? She was, she tried to lie on her daddy because he quote unquote wasn't there. She said, I'm not really black. It's like, oh, okay. This is what we doing? No problem. But when mom was black and like I said, Garcelle Beauvais, fancy kids, them some black boys. And I say this to get to where I was going to as far as Dr. Umar Johnson. Even pro-blacks do this. See, if you a black man and you mixed, you a light-skinned, cracker, you got cracker in you. You see a white man whenever you look in the mirror. That's how he did a brother that he had an issue with. But he'll say, if you're a light-skinned sister, you are a black queen, you are African queen, and that's what it is and that's what you're going to be recognized as until further notice. And he's not going to say, no, you just half and half, because guess what? Even pro-blacks do it, because pro-blacks want to sleep with black women, whether they're biracial or not. So now I got to get to the Umar part of this. The Umar and Shannon Sharp part of this. So you got Umar, Shannon Sharp going at it. You had RG3 weigh in on it. And then it's like, oh, I get it. I get what's going on. I get it. You want to make this a pro-black debate, blah, 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 blah. Shannon Sharp ain't finna do that. And one thing Shannon Sharp said, that one's good and one's bad is for this particular conversation. Basically, Shannon Sharp said, you want me to be miserable with somebody within my race, other than and not be happy with somebody outside of my race. That's crazy. That would be a bad statement. Because to say that you're saying that, he's a black man and black women make him miserable. That's a bad statement. But when sisters say, these guys are trifling, no good, dusty, why would I be with a black man who has all of these negative attributes just because he black? Why can't I be with somebody that I can love and respects me who ain't black? You know, what if they're just a better person? That's a good statement. See, which one is bad and which one is good when they both are saying the same exact thing? They both saying the exact same thing. But Umar wants to tell you, hey, you're not black enough unless you're doing what I want you to do. Interesting. So let's do this. When black men say, listen, I'm not getting treated right, so I'm going to go elsewhere, that's bad. And what elsewhere means interracial dating, that's bad. How dare you? Ain't your mama black? Your sister's black. The seats in your car black. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Your Air Jordan's black, but you got them mixed Air Jordans. See, that's the problem. You got them white and black Air Jordans. You don't know which side you're on. That's your problem. But when you change that narrative, when you change that narrative, it's not a big deal. Nobody says, nobody, when you reverse that, nobody says has 2 cents to say about that. Your daddy black, why are you dating white boys? See, the old Southern phrase, if she can't use your comb, don't bring her home, they didn't necessarily say he can't use your comb, don't bring him home. I would say that she probably flows better than he, but that was a normal statement. That was a normal statement. It's like, oh, okay, this is what we doing, no problem. No problem. So when people like Umar make these statements, hey man, you're not black enough if you're doing that. Let me ask you a question. When I brought up Robert Smith earlier, so what if Robert Smith can't help you? Robert Smith could give him all the money for his school, but would he take his money? Because he's with a white woman? Because he's pro-black? I don't think he would. But what if Eva Serena Williams gave him money for the school? Would he take the money? Because he say, no, you with a white guy, I'm not doing it? I don't know. Because he is coming from a sister. See, the blackness comes out with those comments. It's like, oh, okay, I get you. One's good, one's bad. Now, I went around, I said that in this essence to say this. At what point are black men allowed to make their own decisions without the black community, telling us we can't do something? Because everybody else in the black community can obviously do whatever they want to do, but black men who are heterosexual can't. So gay black men can do whatever they want to do. Gay black women can do whatever they want to do. Black women can do whatever they want to do. Black children can do whatever they want to do. Black elders could do whatever they want to do. Because, hey, I'm old, da 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 da. But black men, no, not you. When you do whatever you want to do is bad. How can I say that? Do y'all realize people have more beef for interracial dating this week than they had Suki Hana twerking on a 10-year-old? See, or did it have to be a white? If it was you think it'd be different if you was twerking on a little white boy? Would that make a difference? When people finally go, hey, you can't. See, because it's a black boy, right? And trust me, this is gonna tie into interracial dating. Cause let y'all tell it, you know, these boys out here, doing the most, being predators. These young men being predators. And these ladies out here doing the most, this type of thing, being predators, and it's all good. So why am I bringing the kids into it in that aspect? Very, very simple. Because I'm going to get back to Shannon and Umar. Because Umar don't say nothing. I notice interracial stuff is BS because there's so many young girls that go missing that are in sex trafficking. And you know who's not really in sex trafficking? Like people want to agree. Like people want to say, black men ain't really into sex trafficking like that. You know who's into sex trafficking like that? Hispanics, Middle Easterns, and white folks. When y'all say these little black girls are missing and these black girls are lost and these little black girls are getting done and these black girls are getting screwed up, y'all, that same interracial, it's okay when somebody white does it, that spills over into them girls. That's how bad it is. Y'all don't even really care about your daughters if she gets snatched up by somebody who ain't black. How many times we've had the scenario where black man, black woman may get killed in the police thing, and they're like, girlfriend ain't black. That's what he get. That's what he get. Like, what? That's what he get? Because his girlfriend ain't black? No, bro, that's cold blooded. And sometimes the guys might be petty too. Her boyfriend was white. She made all these crazy statements. Y'all gotta hold that L. Damn, that's what we doing? Yes, that's what we doing. So why did I bring it up? Why did I bring it up with Shannon and Umar Johnson? Because that interracial, like Umar wants to teach your kids. He wants to teach your kids. Is he going to deal with the fact? Is he going to deal with that aspect? He's a psychologist. He knows what's going on. He's very, very deep into what's going on in the conscious and subconscious mind. Don't ever let that fool you. He knows that we give non-black folks a pass if they're with black women or black girls. He knows this. See, and I left this travel part out for a reason. If a black man goes to Dubai, you're not supposed to be having sex with them women in the Middle East, and you better not get caught. It's gonna be a problem. It might be you understand something. It's gonna be a problem if you go to Dubai and you out there having sex with just with somebody in Dubai in the Middle East, because they don't play like that, especially not with your black self. They ain't gonna do it. That has a consequence attached to it. So you gotta do that on the low. It's a problem. But they will fly a sister in to run a train on her, use it as a toilet, film it, pay her, kick her out, maybe take the money back at customs at the airport. Not a big deal. So one's good, one's bad, even when you in another country. He said they love it, but they don't love you to beat up. And you don't want to get locked up out there neither. So like, we gotta keep that on. Don't say nothing. Keep it on the hush. See, one's good, one's bad. So now, what I'm about to have to say right now is going to actually be the coup de grace. This is the point that I'm gonna end on. If a black man treats a black woman great, he's gonna be looked at suspiciously. If a black man treats a white woman great or a non-black woman great, he's definitely a sellout because he's a self-hater. If a black woman treats a black man great, the sisterhood gonna say you doing the wrong thing. As long as if you don't have a felony, like if you don't have a felony, you just a 9 to 5 working dude. Sisters, you ain't deserving of that. But if a black woman treats a white guy or non-black guy great, no problem. See, so we can use the evil word submission. Black man can't get submission, non-black man can. That's no problem. Black woman can get provision, and it's still a problem. White woman can get provision, and it's still a problem. So one's good and one's bad. So where are these relationships gonna go then? Because looks like it really doesn't matter if these guys interracially date or date sisters in their own city. There's no win with it. There's not a win in it. Oh, we getting there. We gonna go there. We gonna go there. We gonna go there. If you're a black man, you have certain standards for women, and you have certain standards for black women. But the standards for women don't really deviate too much differently than the standards for black women. Only thing that's different is, you know what, I might accept a less thicker body type. That's it. But I still want the feminine, I still want the friendly, I still want the fun, I still want the ladylike. But if I gotta compromise the body, because brothers compromise for body all the time. So, but that's bad. That's bad. You know, sister, black guy, he gotta be 6'5", 237 pounds, you know, chiseled. He gotta make at least $350,000 a year plus. You know, he gotta put it down in every way imaginable. But, you know, and that's my standard. But white guy, he can look like Homer Simpson. One's good, one's bad. But he might look like Homer Simpson, girl, but he got it together. So your standards are all the way up here for your own and all the way down here. But see, y'all say the guy standards are like that. They'll take all the way down here over you when you all the way up here. But you might be on the same level as the chick. She just might be a little bit nicer. That's it. So you being nice, you know, to somebody white, good. You being nice to somebody black, not so good. So one good, one bad. What we doing here? What we doing here? Because it's plain to see. Everybody sees this stuff. And the fact that y'all think we blind is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So which one is good and which one is bad? Because it's all the same stuff. It's all the same stuff. From the traveling, it's all the same. From the dating, it's all the same. From the class, it's all the same. From the pettiness, it's all the same. From the pro-black community, it's all the same. The LGBT thing is all the same. You know, the sellout part is all the same. But so you do the exact same thing with a completely different response. And you're trying to tell people, you know, it's a cultural thing. It's a lie. It's a lie. So when your race suffers from the white man's ice is colder, y'all didn't think it spilled over into dating? You know, it spilled over into dating. So ultimately, we got a big problem. Because what you're seeing, and guys like me, I don't even interracially date. But here's the thing. Have any of y'all asked the question why these other races of women want to date black men now? You haven't asked that question? Because the man that you don't want, she wants. And if she's willing to leave the man that she's with to be with somebody else, and she don't, and to deal with black men under the circumstances black men have to deal with, we got an issue. Why am I saying this? Because when a black man dates a non-black woman, racism exists, and she gotta sit in racism with that man. But when a black woman dates a non-black man, racism, she has no problem sitting in the racism. You ever remember the Dr. Laura episode, where her husband made her uncomfortable because her husband and her husband's family were using the N-word and they blamed it on rap and they turned it on her? How many times have you heard sisters say this? Because see, guys are not going to be with non-black women and deal with racism from their significant other. But you sisters will be with non-black men and deal with racism from your significant other and their family and their friends, and you don't see a problem with it. So it's like, one's good, which one's good, and which one's bad? Which one is good and which one's bad? Because we're going to play this game, let's be honest all the way around. And now, I don't hate to do this, but I just want to make this point. I referenced a show, Scandal, and I'm going to show you the difference. Scandal was a salacious show that people watched every week and the ladies loved. Not long after Scandal ended, and it might have been the same time around the last seasons or so, Get Out came. So when a black man is with a white chick, it can be a horror movie. But a black man is with a white chick, it can be a horror movie, a blockbuster horror movie. But when because that's what's going on. But when a black woman is with a white man as a side chick, it's a great show. No horror involved. Nothing like the whole viewpoint is different. The whole viewpoint was different. So I'm like, which one is good and which one is bad? Because if you think these guys are dating outside of their race just because they color struck, fine, let's do it. Which one is good and which one is bad? Because when men are color struck, it's a problem within the race. And if they color struck outside of the race, it's a problem. But when sisters are color struck, it's not, that's just a preference. When sisters are color struck, that's just what I like. That's not, that's good. Because I went to preferences earlier. And last but not least, because it was about class and it's about money and blah, blah, blah. When black men date non-black women, they're a fetish. And guys are like, hey, it is what it is. The BBC fetish. When black women are dating non-black women, when black women are dating non-black men, and we say, hey, you kind of a fetish over there. See, because I haven't seen and I may be wrong, but I ain't looking for it either. I haven't seen a black male equivalent to ghetto gaggers. I'm just saying. So one's good and one's bad, even sexually. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know if they can get a bunch of black dudes to have a to have a bunch of white women shoot egg on his face. I know it's if you get the Patrice O'Neal reference, he's not gonna get, egged by, 10 different white chicks or, calling him the N-word, and he's just gonna sit there, yeah. That's not, doesn't happen. See, one's good, one's bad. So which one is it? Because some of the things that y'all do, we wouldn't even do. But it's been an hour. I appreciate rocking with y'all. Next week, we're gonna have a special guest coming. So, every week we're highlighting a channel in the manosphere for them to go live so brothers to come in. That's what this is. So when you see that particular thumbnail about the Black Manosphere Show of the Week, that's what's going on. So when you see that thumbnail and you see it in people's community tabs and they put it up in their stories and post, share it, put the link on it. And when you put the link on it, the time is gonna be 6 o'clock every Sunday. And the goal is to do different brothers every week, because everybody, for all the people who felt like they didn't get a shot or they haven't got a shot of it, and they didn't get a moment for people to hone in on them. This is what this is about, because brothers do work together, whether y'all know it or not. But that's what we're doing. We're working together. So I appreciate y'all for rocking with me for now. Enjoy the outro. Thank y'all for coming out. Peace.
This looks like a job for Superman.
Do this,
Spoken from the lips of the young or the old, bear of me.
Yeah. Gotta put it all in.
And they are Superman.
All the way. I guess I'm taking off the cape through the glasses in the trash. Being super is great, saving y'all is such a drag. Even God took a break, me I ain't coming back. I got one life to live, if you don't like it, that's your ass. Cause nobody saved me, plus when I walk, I'm just a peon. I could use somebody just like I'm the kings of neon. This world is cold as ice, mixed with salt, mixed with freon. They got me pissed off, but that's better than being peed on. For eons, human beings took kindness for weakness. When you constipated, you start to appreciate shit. Put before you life and death, and you just gotta choose. The kryptonite life means you still follow the rules. If your credit's messed up or your bills ain't paid, then it's getting disconnected. Can't nobody say the day. And I can fly, leave a building in a single bound, but I can't stand fair weather friends, and I just fly around. My super friends in Justice League, only folk I kick it with. Kill Lex Luthor, so what, we had to finish it. Kids play games and adults play for keeps. And me, I play to win, but I ain't playing in these streets. And life is not a joke, then again it ain't this serious. Superman can say the day, but God can say the Superman. Saga of the kryptonite, life just ended. You enjoy listening? Man, I'll finish it. Lois, come holler at me. I got an ice couch. Thank you for coming out, listening. I knew you would like it because we made it. I'm so frigid and so fly. Hey.